Joining us now is Poshmark founder and CEO Manish Chandra. Manish, thank you for joining us. There have been a lot of talk really about the resale market in retail, and you see players like Macy's starting to experiment, trying to figure out how they might be able to tap into this market with one of your competitors doing a pilot program with ThredUp. I wonder if you've been approached by any retailers to work together for this.
We have had a couple of different conversations. We haven't finalized a direction there. But yes, it is a huge trend and something that I think Gen Z and Gen Y are really latching on to, and it's scaling very rapidly.
And so your platform works perhaps a little different than some of the other platforms where the sellers of the goods, for the most part, retain the goods themselves, and they're in charge of posting the photos, doing the descriptions. And Poshmark is really the platform that connects the buyers and the sellers. And you take a 20% commission, and then the buyer ends up paying for the shipping. So I'm wondering, when you have products exchanging hands sort of peer-to-peer, and there isn't Poshmark getting involved in actually touching or seeing the product, what do you do if a product is misrepresented for a buyer?
So we have sort of three-step process in terms of making sure that the transaction goes smoothly. The first thing is really validating the content that the sellers are posting online. And so that is something that is a constant process of both using machine learning, community moderation, and then centralized moderation to make sure that that content is as good and as high quality as we can. We have over 100 million items posted at any given point in time. The second thing is protection that we offer for buyer and seller. And the way that the transaction works is that the funds are only released to the seller after the buyer has had the item and they have accepted it. If they have a problem, they dispute it, then we we verify the dispute and then have the item shipped back to the seller. For items $500 and over, we actually physically authenticate them. They go to something called Posh Authenticate, which is a centralized authentication center, and we physically authenticate and then reship the items to the shopper.
And with that last program, you do say shop with confidence, knowing that your purchase will be 100% authentic 100% of the time. How can you guarantee that? I'm not sure if you're familiar, but CNBC did a pretty in-depth investigation with the Real, which had a very similar promise, and it turns out they weren't able to do that 100% of the time.
Yeah, I think one of the challenges in authentication, as you sort of pointed out in that article, and we see that, is that we can do our best, and we try to do our best, and I think we try to sort of eliminate as much of the defects as possible. But the world of replica continues to sort of innovate, very much like what you saw with high-end paintings, and you see sort of the quality of fakes can sometimes be very, very high. So we try to extend the warranty, and if you have any other problems, even after you've received that item, we try to service you as best we can. And for example, for some of the more exotic things like Chanel and others, where you may have vintage jewelry, vintage bags, we even employ external certificates and sort of experts to help verify. But there is no such thing, as you pointed out in the article, that can be 100% guarantee, but we try to do our best to get you that 100% guarantee.